Okay. Hi everyone, my name is Savannah and this is my YouTube video. Basically, this is going to be like a word of advice or like more like a conversation a little bit. I kind of listed some points and tips that I've learned in my early 20s that could be helpful for somebody out there, could be relatable for somebody out there, or if you're stuck or something like that. Or if you want to just listen to it and just find it entertaining, if you want to listen to it in the background, whatever way y'all may take this video, I just want to put this out there. And basically, this is my experience of what I've learned up until this day and age. I decided I was going to go with basically 20 things that I've learned from the age up until the age of 25. So this is more like focused on my early 20s. Yeah, let's get it started with. So I took a couple notes and I'm just gonna read some of these things out, but I kind of already have like mental notes of what I'm gonna say. But some of these might be a little obvious, but even though it's obvious, some people don't, they don't know the obvious. So I'm here to tell you something that you might already know, but in case you didn't know, now you know. So the first one is very easy, is that you're always evolving. And this one, when you a kid, you think to yourself that adults got it figured out, or like the rich people got it figured out, and you go on social media and you see other people and you like, dang, they look like they got their shit together. And to be honest, it's all a lot of things are smoky mirrors, and I'm sure you know this by now. But a lot of things are smoky mirrors, and you are forever evolving in this life. Things that life will throw at you that you just gotta pick it up and keep going. It really is survival. The fittest out here. Forever gonna be evolving. With happiness and sorrow and all that good stuff, you're gonna be changing forever until the day you die. That's basically what you're here for, is to be evolving into becoming or returning back to who you were supposed to be in the first place. Number two is, and this is not in no particular order. Like I said, this is more like my experience. But number two is dropping the kind act or the nice person act. It doesn't serve you and it doesn't serve the other person to pretend to be nice. And what I mean by that is when you're in your early 20s, well, for me in my early 20s, I remember it was just one of those things that when you was growing up that you had to be nice to everybody. And I remember I used to do that with the wrong people and didn't recognize that I was getting taken advantage of sometimes because of my kindness. And not everybody deserves your kindness. So, with that being said, it doesn't help you because one, you're not helping putting boundaries down when you do that. And two, you're teaching that other person that it's okay to be an asshole towards you. And that doesn't help them, nor does it help you. Being kind and being nice are two different things. Being nice is being foolish, is basically saying like, you it's okay for you to treat me like shit, and I'm just gonna like take it up the chin and just smile and just be like everything is okay when it's not okay. Being kind though is when I choose to be like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and help this person because it comes out of my kindness of my heart to do it. Okay, so that's the second one, is dropping the nice person act or whatever case may be. I could elaborate a little bit more, but I'm pretty sure you got the memo. You just can't be nice to everybody, okay? If they're being mean to you, that doesn't mean you gotta be a bitch. That doesn't recall for that. Still try to keep your morals and be respectful, but at the same time, you gotta teach people how to treat you, and you can't just be out here being smiling and being nice to everybody just because that's how you was raised, and that doesn't teach that person anything either. Number three, faith and religion. So, growing up for me, I grew up in a house where religion had to look a certain way. I came from a Christian background. My grandma's a pastor. I was very Pentecostal. Shout out to those people. I don't got nothing against it. Now, I always used to be convinced that in order to gain access to God, it had to look a certain way. You had to pray a certain way. You had to look a certain way. You had to talk a certain way. You had to act a certain way. And that's not really the truth. really, God is not something that you can miss. He's not like this bus that passes and you missed him. That's not how that works. God is he's everywhere. He's inside of you. He's everywhere. We're like, imagine like it's an ocean where the droplets. Believe that when you leave this earth, you leave that stuff behind. You leave race and everything behind. So I think it's just important that you connect to the source, and it doesn't matter how it may look like for you. Call him God, the universe, whatever, Allah, whoever, Jesus. Get connected to him. Your religion doesn't have to look like my religion, okay? My belief doesn't have to look like your belief. But as long as we get connected and we get to the same results, that's what really matters. Number 4, your uniqueness is your realness. What makes you different and unique is you being authentic and just having those flaws, the little quirks and stuff like that. That's what makes you real. A lot of us in this day and age, like in social media and things like that, get filtered out, and we want to look a certain way, we want to talk a certain way, we want to act a certain way, whatever is trending. That's not productive. It's destructive behavior. Nobody's meant to look alike. Nobody's meant to be alike. Your uniqueness is what's make you you. And I appreciate everybody that's different. It's sad to say that nowadays being different and acting yourself is a brave thing to do, when in reality it should be common. Maybe back in the days it probably was common to be more like yourself, because I know that people probably had nicknames, for people that based off their characteristic. Being real is like very, very few people do that, even with your flaws and everything, because a part of you deep down in your soul will feel it that you're being fake, and other people can also sense that too when you're being fake. I know I can. Okay. Number 5, very easy, I'm not going to elaborate this one too much, but your actions always do speak louder than your words. Okay. Actions speak louder than your words. I'm sure we know that by now. If they treat you like shit, that's how they feel about you. Don't convince yourself that it's tough love or anything like that. It's very rare when somebody has intentions like that, okay? If they showing you love, guess what? They love you. And if somebody truly cares, appreciate that, because that means that they care. But you're trying to sit yourself and convince yourself that, oh, the reason why I haven't heard from this person or whatever the case is, and they trying to tell you some type of lame ass excuse, all right? You should know, like, by now, like, their actions are not adding up, okay? Number 6, give yourself some grace in your 20s. Your 20s, you're gonna do some mistakes. It's the first time that you're really out here for real. Like, you're really out here, and you're not gonna, like, yeah, you're gonna take the things that you learn from home, like your morals and things like that, and you're gonna try your best, but those things are gonna be tested. And when they are tested, and for whatever reason you fail and you make a mistake, give yourself some grace. In hindsight, you will learn your lesson. But at the same time, don't get it twisted now. Don't be out here acting ignorant and being a moron because of the fact that you're young and you feel like, oh, because I'm young, I can do whatever I want. That's not the case. If you know better, try to do better. But give yourself some grace in your 20s, okay? This one was a kind of a hard one for me to do, because I can find myself in a position where I can be a little hard on myself. But give yourself some grace in your 20s. There's a saying that goes, the student doesn't find the master until he's ready. And you don't learn certain things until you're ready to learn them for real. So whatever mistake you did in your 20s, your early 20s, or you're doing right now, give yourself some grace about it and keep it going. Just move on. Because in real life, nobody lives this perfect angel life. Yes, we strive to be better and be, we strive to for being righteous, but understand that life is going to be life, and there's going to be mistakes that are going to be done. So give yourself some grace, okay? Number 7, repeating cycles. So this one is more about not listening to your intuition and not having your discernment loud enough where you can actually stop yourself from doing certain things. So with this one is like, you go and you hear other people's advices, and you go on YouTube and you go in this way and whatever the case is, and instead of listening to what is within, so you have like this cycle of not listening to yourself. And when you don't listen to yourself, you're gonna cause yourself your own depression. You want to try to avoid this one as much as you can. Again, this is one of those things that you do need to learn. You need to live and learn, but don't. There's some people out here that they actually never stop. They never stop repeating those cycles. They keep making those same mistakes. They never learn from their lessons. And they find themselves in deep depression and all kinds of stuff because of the fact that they just never listened to themselves. They never took the time and actually listened to their discernment and their intuition. So the way I look at this one is more like you got to go through the pain to actually learn, to not repeat the cycles. You actually got to get tired sometimes. If you a type of person like one and done, damn, that shit hurted and I'm done, then kudos to you. But really, you don't want to keep repeating the same cycles over and over and over and keep learning the same lessons over and over and over. Whether that's in a very bad relationship or in a very bad job or just how you treat yourself, you got to break out of those cycles. And how you break out of those cycles is you got to get sick and tired of being in those cycles. You got to get tired of living the way that you live. Okay? So that one's is number 7. Number 8, the trends. There's a lot of stuff that's just crazy, and it is very troubling to the soul, and it's very troubling to the heart. And because it's a trend, we think it's okay. So this one, just because it's a trend doesn't make it right. So again, have better discernment. Don't get on a trend because what you may call it, this person said it was okay to do it or whatever case is. You gotta really lock in and feel in your heart like, okay, yeah, I feel like that me doing this is not good or whatever the case may be. Okay, and that one can be kind of hard because when you're in your early 20s, people, that's where you think peer pressure starts in high school. That shit happens in your 20s too. So number 9, the number 9 is ties in still with 7 and 8. The lows of not listening. Again, so if you're not listening to yourself, you're gonna have these moments where it's like, dang, can I even trust myself? I don't trust myself, and I always gotta seek other people's approval and advice and things like that. And you're just gonna go into these lows. Okay, you're never gonna mature and become a grown ass person, like a grown woman or whatever the case is, because you keep not listening to your own intuition. You're not listening to God when something is feeling off with your spirit. 10, people see your potential before you do, especially when you're young. When you're young, and this can happen, this don't have to be in your 20s. You can be a child and people see your potential. When people see your potential, people can treat you of a certain way, and you gotta, and especially if you don't know your own potential. So you gotta be aware of that. Be aware of how you may be treated because of the things that you do not know. For example, people can see that you're a really kind-hearted person or you're really like a lively person and whatever the case is, and they might want to put you down for no reason. Like they just might be like, oh, why she's always, I don't know, smiling or happy, or why she laugh like that, or whatever the case is, or why she's being so kind to that person, or whatever the case may be. Like people can see like you have a good heart, or you got good potential to be, I don't know, like some type of leader of some sort or whatever the case is, and they see that, but you don't know that because you're so humbled and you're just going around like a butterfly, just naive and gullible, and not knowing that people want to get you down because they see how you are. So yeah, people can see your potential before you do. This also kind of reminds me of Selena, not Selena Gomez, but Selena, the one that passed away. Unfortunately for her, and this happens a lot, unfortunately, but Selena was really humble, and unfortunately she kind of underestimated her light. And when she was having problems with this one person, the person that killed her, unfortunately. I'm forgetting her name right now. She met up with this person in a hotel by herself. In my mind, it's like she didn't see who she was. She didn't see, like, okay, wow, she is Selena. Like, she is really the biggest star out here, because she was young. She was young when she passed. So it's just one of those unfortunate cases that you got to be aware of, like, how people might see you sometimes. Just have discernment. Try to have discernment with that one. 11, there's always somebody watching you. There is always somebody watching you and keeping score, believe it or not. It don't matter if you don't got no followers, if you low key, or whatever case is, you breathing, you got some energy. And there's some people out here that they keep tabs. Some people are bored. Some people don't got nothing to do. Some people want to be you. Some people want to copy you. And especially like if you low key, you might start doing something trending and they think like, oh, nobody's going to pay attention to her. So let me go ahead and copy off of her, whatever case is. Those are the monitoring spirits and things like that. People that want to destiny swap with you. Be aware of those people. And me too. There was one time, okay, remind you, I'm about 25 now. I'm about to be 26. One time this person hit me up on my Instagram and they DM me something real nasty. They knew me from when I was in high school in 11th grade. I went to 4 different high schools, by the way. And first of all, they didn't tell me how I treated them. They didn't explain nothing. They just went ahead and just started bashing me. And they were just doing all this because of the grudge or how they felt about me when I was in 11th grade with them. Like, child, you really, that's very miserable. Like, you really focus on me. You better, they sitting up like what, 2 o'clock in the morning, texting somebody in the DMs for all the way from 11th grade. Child, if you don't flex me some money or something like that, really pathetic. But yeah, there's always somebody watching, and it's crazy because this person did not follow me on Instagram. I didn't follow them, and they didn't have no real pictures or anything like that, but yet they had a lot to say about me. So, and with me, I be thinking I'm like low key, like I be thinking that nobody's really paying attention to me, and yes, there is people paying attention. There's always somebody that is paying attention to you. Okay, there is somebody always watching you. Whether they're good or bad, there's somebody watching. Number 12, be proud of your life lessons and wear them like a trophy. Whenever something happens to us, for whatever reason, we tend to shy away and hide in the shame of it. And instead of living on our truths and actually learning that lesson and carrying it like a trophy, like, yeah, I fucked up, or, that happened to me, but this is what I learned and this is what I gained. And this is this is who I am today. Like, I evolved. Instead of doing that, we actually shy away and we shame ourselves. Like, child, your lesson is the most valuable thing there is because you got some wisdom, and wisdom is one of the greatest things that you can have. Some people never learn their lesson. So don't feel ashamed that you learned some lessons now. Some people don't ever learn their lessons and they're sitting in their misery, and they have to, unfortunately, some people, have to learn the hard way, eventually very down the line, or they never get there and they pass it to their next generation. 13, unrealistic romance and fantasies. They can be fun to fantasize about somebody. It's fun to like sit there in La La Land and think about all these beautiful things that could happen, right? And just let the mind go free. But 9 out of 10, you will end up hurt. Okay? You will hurt yourself. You will hurt your own feelings doing that. We tend to fantasize a lot of stuff on social media, and people post things, and you might think to yourself, what if he's thinking like that? Or what if that's what's happening right now? Whatever case is, child, no. Take it for what it is. Take everything for what it is. Focus on what's in front of you. Keep it going. Because that fantasizing and holding a space for something or whatever case is, that's going to cause you more hurt, more into the delusion, So fantasizing, romance especially, is not good and it's a waste of time. Don't recommend it. 14, don't put a price over disrespect or sell yourself for love. Oh, for the right money, she's willing to do whatever, Or for the right guy, she's willing to do whatever. Well, for the right guy, yes, but not for a disrespectful man. But Don't disrespect yourself for money. Don't sell yourself short for anything. Whether that's love or, whatever the case is. If you're gonna disrespect yourself, or you're gonna have someone disrespect you, child, that's like selling your soul. Okay, it's not productive, and yeah, you're gonna regret it. Okay. 15. Well, this kind of ties in with 14. Love yourself so you can recognize when you're being disrespected. Well, for me, in my early 20s, and before that, I used to be I used to put other people first so much that it will take me a second for me to catch the disrespect. Like, oh wow, like that was a backhanded compliment. I'll realize that later, or whatever the case is. And unfortunately, when you don't have that awareness of, like, you don't really like have that love for yourself, you don't peep it until later. You don't recognize that people are being disrespectful, they're counting you out, they're underestimating you, until you get that knowledge, like, oh, okay, I see it now. I see it now. Now that I love myself, I see that I will never treat myself like that. Prioritizing yourself will definitely keep you out of those type of situations. All right. 16. Stay consistent in the things you like, regardless of what is going on in your life. Whether you have a child, a boyfriend, and listen, I have a child. Whether you have a child, a parent, a mother, whatever the case is, whatever's happening in your life, stay consistent in the things that you like, because those are the things that make you who you are, make you happy, whether it's paying you or not. Getting up and getting ready and like doing my makeup for no reason sometimes makes me happy. It makes the kids out of me happy. Reading books makes me happy. Things don't have to be all about money, and whatever the case is. Going outside and being in nature makes me happy. You know, do the things that you like regardless of what's happening in your life, because you're in charge of your own happiness. This is your experience in this world. So make sure that you stay on top of the things you like, okay? 17. You don't need approval from anyone, not even in your loved ones. You don't need approval from nobody. If you want to go do something, you don't need to be asking nobody for nothing. As long as it doesn't trouble your heart and your mind and your soul, and you're not hurting nobody, you don't need to be asking for approval or validation from nobody. Okay? This is your life. You. That's really self-explanatory, but unfortunately we tend to do that because we don't have enough trust in ourselves sometimes. So we feel like, oh, let me go ask the person that I love and things like that. But unfortunately, when you do that, you might stir something in them. Like, you might intimidate them with whatever idea that you might have. You never need to really ask approval from nobody. If it's safe and it's not hurting nobody and it's not troubling your mind or heart or nobody, like, you're good. You don't need to ask nobody approval, okay? 18. Remember how people treat you in significant situations, okay? So this is very important. So basically, how people treat you, whether you're having a good time or a bad time, when you're making some good money or if you're hitting a low. Remember how people treat you during these moments, because literally this is how they expose themselves to you, okay? So pay attention. If they over here hating on you because you got more money or whatever, you got that nice house, a nice car, or you got that man of their dreams or whatever the case may be, and they hating on you, child, now you know how they feel about you. They're envious or jealous of you, and you don't need to be around those people, okay? Or if something's bad happening to you, and unfortunately this happens a lot when people, like women that get pregnant. Unfortunately, in that vulnerable state, they can't really defend themselves how they want to, and people want to talk and be aggressive and treat them any type of way. So just remember that. Remember how people treat you in these pivotal moments, like these significant moments. Okay? 19. Having faith is inviting God to your world. Okay? It really is. Having faith in something is inviting God to your world. You know what they say, if you have faith of a mustard seed, you can move mountains. And I've literally seen this happen to me. When I'm over here sitting here focused on, oh my God, like the problem and things like that, I'm like, God, I'm going to put it in your hands. And I don't care how it's going to happen. I just have faith that it's going to happen. That's like the best thing you could do. That's the best thing you can do. You're literally humbling yourself. You're creating a relationship with God, and watch how he's gonna prove that thing to you. Watch how he's gonna show you what he can do. Okay, this is literally like an invitation to make your relationship stronger with God. And lastly, 20. Life is meant to be a faith intended experience. Okay. Basically, what I mean by that is this life is gonna be a lot of unknown. We don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. All right, that's why I love tomorrow. But no, for real, we don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. All right, so you don't know what's gonna happen in the next minute, the next second, and you're just having faith on whatever it is, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. You know, you might have faith in the bad things, okay, and we need to change that. But life is meant to be a faith-driven experience, okay? That's the whole point of this life. All right. So it's good to have your faith in the good things. Have faith in good things so good things can happen. Okay. So yeah, that's basically it. 20 things that I've learned in my early 20s. I hope that somebody enjoys this video. We'll see what happens. I'll probably make another video. I don't know. But anyways, I'm glad that whoever stayed tuned and actually made it to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. Thank you for hearing me talk. So yeah, y'all have a great rest of your day.